Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining my channel. My name is Vin, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Geo Hypostasis fight. So this fight is much like the other two Hypostasis fights, where the boss, as well it has the rocks around it, you can't deal damage to the core. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on in. Real quick though, there is a warning here that my Beidou almost dies. Now, you need to have a Claymore character with you here on this fight, so it's completely up to you who you bring. Razor, Beidou, Noel would actually be really good on this fight, but um, you need somebody to be able to take down some of the mechanics on the fight, some Claymore user to be able to take down some of the mechanics. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right into the video here. So I'm going to initiate the boss here in just a second maybe. Alrighty, here I go. Now, as soon as I initiate the boss, there's going to be a lull in the mechanic time that is going to take for him. I'm guessing this is like his cast time for all the pillars that he's getting ready to put up on the ground. And so there's the lull. Here they come. So you see the three pillars that are going to pop up there. There's going to be one more that pops up directly behind me. Now, while he's doing this mechanic, I can attack the core, and as you can see, my Beidou really isn't doing a whole lot. But if you notice, I did not at this point, but if you notice, the boss left. He's gone. He went to another pillar, and there he is, which leads to the second mechanic, which is the ring around your character. Now, this ring doesn't last very long. It's only like maybe 3 seconds or so of the ring that you can actually see, and then the attack is going to happen very quickly. So as soon as the ring goes off of you, there comes a puddle on the ground that's going to cause geo damage. You need to dart out of that or run out of it as fast as you can to avoid that damage. Then just go straight back to wherever the boss is, on whichever pillar he's on, and just start working that pillar down. Now, this leads to another mechanic. As you can see here, the pillar that the boss is on, right here, starts to move. The actual Tetris pieces of the pillar start to move. Right here, watch it. Here it comes. There, you see it moving? Now, when it moves like this is going to cause only one pulse from the ground outward, and the core being the epicenter. Okay? So here comes there goes the, the ripple effect, the pulse. I didn't get out of the way in time. Now, you can use an iframe here. An iframe is an invulnerable frame. I actually do it with Zhang Ling later on in the fight. To avoid it, it can actually save you a little bit of time to do that. If you're good at that kind of thing, absolutely. I get lucky sometimes, and it works for me. But you really need to know the mechanics of the fight and the timing of the fight. It's a real dance when it comes to doing iframes, right? So if you can get the rhythm and you can get the timing down, then you can actually weave in and out with your iframes and avoid all the damage most of the time, or at least 90% of the damage that you would have usually have taken. Now, I honestly thought at this point that it was a different mechanic that was happening, which is why you see me away from the boss. So what happened is there is another mechanic that he does that's very similar to that one, but every single one of the pillars will perform a pulse, and it will continue to pulse until the cube is dead that is beside of the pillar that caused it. So but I notice now, I'm like, oh, it's not the same mechanic that I thought it was, so I start attacking again. Now, here is another mechanic. I'm going to call this one the paper. So when this rock boss, Geo boss, does the paper, it's very similar to the electrohypostasis, where he goes up in the air. If you have ranged at this point, you can start firing on that crystal and it'll start taking damage. But he's going to drop down, smash the ground in that AoE puddle that he created, and then the crystal's just going to sit there for a little bit so that you can beat on it and try to get it down. So here's when you put the damage down and you're trying to get it down as far as you can. My damage is crap. So right now, just as an example, or just so for future references, right now my world is world rank 4. I just hit world rank 4 today, which is AR level 35. So the boss is a heck of a sight harder right now than he was earlier this morning. Whenever I should have recorded this video, I would have had a little bit of an easier time. But right now, the only person who is level 60, well, 2 characters are level 70 for AR 35 right now on this team. That's Venti and Barbara. Just so you know, my Beidou is level 60. The weapon that she is using is level 60. I just haven't been able to level them up yet. If I did, this would go by a fair deal easier, but I'm not there yet because everything's happening so quick. But here now is the mechanic that I was telling you about earlier that I thought I was avoiding. So this mechanic here, what ends up happening is there's a brick there to the left of the pillar. Now that brick, if you can kill that brick, it'll stop the mechanic from happening. But if you can't kill the brick, then you're just going to have to wait if you don't have ranged. This right here is where I think Fischl would really shine, because you could dart in, drop your Oz, and then run out and start, dealing damage to that brick there and try to stop the mechanic from happening as long as it does. But I chose not to put Fischl on my team so that I could actually show you as much of the mechanics as I can. And here now you can see that the waves coming in from all of the pillars, and there are safe areas. The safe areas are in between all the pillars, closer towards the outside area. You got quite a bit of room there to maneuver, and we just kind of wait for this to happen. I get a little bit impatient and I end up throwing out Venti's elemental skill to see if I'm close enough to hit anything, and I'm not. So now that it's over with, the crystal core is ready to be attacked, but it's annoying to hit with just Venti. So I try to break the pillar. When you break the pillar, it knocks the boss out of the sky. And let's talk about that. So if you've got the DPS on your character to be able to drop the pillars, then if the boss is over top of a pillar that you drop, the boss will drop to the ground, the crystal will become exposed, and you can deal damage. So in my opinion, I think that's the way the game was designed for you, or this boss fight was designed for you to be able to fight it. But for me, I just find that a little bit tedious in that sense, because it takes so long to kill one of those pillars. But I may not be doing it right, and if I'm not, please feel free to leave me a comment down below and tell me what's the best way to be able to take out one of these pillars right here. So now he's then teleported over here. Now this part on the mirror part of the Geo boss, you do not need to sprint here. Conserve your stamina if you are dealing with the same situation that I am, where it's really kind of hard to take some of these pillars down. Save your stamina, conserve it. Once he gets into this, just keep running. Don't stop running. And you don't need to sprint. It's not that fast. It's just a constant barrage of bricks coming at you that you can outrun, and Barbara actually displays that a little bit later on in the video, closer towards the end. But what ends up happening here is I'm trying to take down this daggone pillar, and it's taking forever, so he disappeared. And right here is another a mirror attack. It's the same mirror attack that he just did, but now this is whenever I realized that the pillar that's right beside of me is taking damage from the boss's attack. So you could use this theoretically to help you do chip damage to some of these pillars around the platform. And I actually try to do that here in just a second. So I'm like, oh crap, it took damage, so I rush back to let it keep taking more damage. And then, I run over to this boss, and I get scared because I don't know what the hell he's doing. And then I'm like, okay, well, I'll just start doing some more chip damage to this pillar. This mechanic here that's happening now, where all the meteors are falling out of the sky, this is a very simple mechanic to avoid. It's usually 3 per pillar, and as long as the meteors are on one side and you're on the other, as you can see here, the pillar's on the right, the meteors are on the left, and I'm staying on the right near the pillar. So you're not going to get hit, and you're going to be just fine. Now, this part here, again, is doing it again, where he's doing that single pulse. And I'm not sure if yeah, you see, I did not iframe that. I actually took damage from that on Beidou. But I got scared because I wasn't sure what mechanic it was. And then I'm like, oh, it's only the one mechanic, so now I just get out of the way. And then he does the paper, and I throw down some more damage on the crystal. If you have a chance to throw damage on the core of the crystal, you need to take that opportunity because it doesn't come around very often. Here, you see me, I've almost got the pillar down, and I know he's getting ready now to do the big AoE, right? The pulsating AoE multiple times. And I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and kill the pillar real quick. And whenever I do, the boss stops his attack and just drops to the ground as a crystal and allows me to continue DPSing the boss here. So we're going to put a little bit more damage onto him. I switched to Barbara because I was like, maybe she might do something, but she does absolutely nothing. So now he's going to do his circle again, or his paper again. And we're going to put some more chip damage on him and try to push him into the center, but we're not quite there yet. One more round of this and we'll be good. Now you see that the little cube that popped up, and that's what I saw, and I knew that the pulsating little waves were getting ready to start. That's why I turned around and I was like, well, I guess I'll just sit here and wait for this to stop, because I really ain't got nothing to do anything with right now. I can't get close enough to do anything. And alright, it was at that point that I was like, I really should have brought Fischl for this, because that would have been awesome. And now with Klee out, I'm sure Klee would absolutely wreck this boss. And yeah, I actually chose to eat that because the pillar was almost dead. And then so I could drop the boss down. Now he's going to go into the center, and which starts the final mechanic. Most of the mechanics past this point are kind of rinse and repeat. This part of the mechanic is exactly like the Hypostasis, and the fact that, or in a sense, that he drops down three cores. All 3 cores need to be destroyed. If you don't destroy the 3 cores before he reabsorbs the cores, he will regen some, and you have to kill him again, and for him to get the next core to spawn for you. So I'm going to kill 2 cores here before he absorbs the final one. He'll regen a little bit, and then I'm going to have to kill him again and kill the final core. And this is where Beidou almost dies. Not right here, but shortly, this is where she almost bites the bullet. So now, he did that mechanic again, the little pulsating one. It doesn't hurt too bad if you've got the hit points for it. I'm still beating on this thing. I don't know why. Um, everything past this point is all rinse and repeat, man. So he put a little circle around me and AoE underneath me. Now I'm getting upset and frustrated because every time I try to attack him, he's doing some crazy crap. Right here is where I was displaying that Barber can actually just, you know, slow run away from the boss's mirror attack. And I avoid that one. I go back in. And he disappears to another freaking platform. And now I've got the circle on me again. Luckily I avoided that. I'm not going to avoid these next ones that pop up though. This next mechanic right here is not good. Let's see if we can find out how much hit points Pt3 has. There we go. Ooh, she has 86 hit points, bro. Oh man. So yeah, and if you want to find out how good Barber is, allow me to demonstrate here. So that was her elemental burst attack or ability, and my Pt3 is back to full life now. See, she's back to full life. So Barbara essentially healed over 10.2k and her elemental burst, and I'm sure she could have healed for more than that. I think my Barbara's sitting at around 18k hit points right now, so I'm sure she could have healed for way more than that. But basically now from here, I just drop it. The boss comes down, I take him back down, he goes into the middle, I kill his final core, and that's going to be a job well done. Well, I won't say a job well done. It's a job done, right? And I'm absolutely sure that if I can do this with my bullshit free-to-play account, and some of you guys can take care of it if you've got a little bit more sense about yourself than I did at this point. But that was the whole reason for making this video, was because I wanted you guys to see my mistakes, see where I made mistakes and messed up, and hopefully you can avoid those mistakes and do better. But guys, that's going to be it for the Geo Hypostasis. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can see the new videos that I pop out on the channel. Right now I've got a couple of different playlists going. I'll leave links to those in the description box below for quick and easy use access, so you can get a hold of the boss battles that I do, breakdown guides, and also the truly free-to-play series that comes out on Mondays and Fridays. Well guys, have a great day, and I will see you on the next episode.